Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another war video here, and this is the 7th war of season 24. My alliance is going up against SpBa. They are very well known for us. We've played them several times in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and by any means they're definitely good contenders for Master, and we had to put on our good performance here. At the end I'll add the bonus content for a couple of videos that I had captured from the last war against DSVG, which we ended up losing. I had 3 fights total that war. The one of Warlock against Immortal Abomination on Path 5, I ended up losing that recording for some reason. So instead of making a whole video just for the 2 fights, I'm going to add those here at the end as a bonus. We have this first fight here against the Invisible Woman on Path 2, the first node, in which obviously you have to keep an eye on your combos with the different types of hits that you can land, otherwise you're going to give her the passive Fury. But on top of that, the only way that I can gain any bars of power is whenever she feels one of her power. Warlock sometimes works great for this path here because he can control their power from them not throwing it, and then eventually it's going to lead him into possibly accumulating 2 bars of power for his massive special 2 damage. But I was trying to play it safe here and obviously keeping an eye on her force field and trying to land heavy attacks for when he was coming back, because bleeds make that consume the power field much faster, and then even if she turns on the invisibility while she has a bleed on, then obviously she's going to start that unpaused, and then you don't need to worry about having to parry or whiff a hit to be able to attack her again. But this fight is going pretty well here. I tried to manage as much as possible to not give her a lot of furies, but at the end here I had a lot of infections, which also were helped by the fact that I had Cable on my team. He's really great for Warlock, and you understand here soon that this war was pretty centered around Warlock for my main attacker. With that first fight being done, I'm moving on here to Ebony Maw on the second node of Path 2. I didn't have a lot of concerns with this one here. I brought Torch for a few of the Mystic champions that I had on my paths. So here, obviously what I don't want to happen is that he gets to a lot of his phases where he's going to miss my attacks, but Torch is really great because he can just build up those smolders and be able to fail his misses. But other than that, there's also the power focus one here, so that helps for me not having to bait his special 2 or take a lot of damage from it. But he's already melting. I didn't even have the pre-fight on, and with Torch building all those smolders, he already went down pretty easily. And to follow up on that Ebony Maw fight, there's another Mystic right next to it on the shared fight between Paths 1, 2, 3. This is another one where you have to keep an eye on your combo so you don't give him a lot of the passive furies. I'm trying to manage my hits so that I'm not giving him those furies, because it's worth mentioning that the nullify that he can apply on you, and that when he switches into the purple phase of nullification, if you have, say, a dexterity buff and then he ends up nullifying that, the damage is going to be pretty massive, because the nullified damage scales up with his modified attack, meaning that all those passive furies could have given him the advantage and nullifying even if I had 1 buff on me. So I tried to block as much as possible and play it safe. But you see here that even without the pre-fight again, I already melted him and he went down pretty quick. So here's where the fun begins with a lot of my Warlock fights, and the reason for me bringing Cable is because I scouted my path and I saw that I was going to use Warlock a lot. So I figured any help that I could get to ramp him up and keep him that way would be best. This one here is the power snack, and as you saw there, I already tried to time my dexterity so that I would make Domino not nullify my armor every time. Instead, I'm just keeping my permanent armor up buff in there. Other than that, you obviously don't want for her to be pushed into like a special 3 situation, or if she's far into a special 2, if you decks any of her hits, that you would push her into special 3 because of power snack. But I had also dueled this summoner here, and I saw that they had willpower. So obviously with all the infections that I was able to obtain with the cable synergy and being pretty aggressive with the fight, here she's already has 4 infections and then the armor ups that keep keep burning her power as she's trying to regen from willpower. I ate one combo that I thought that she was going to come with the medium attack, and then she didn't, and then I ended up missing my parry. But other than that, here I'm just trying to finish the fight. Warlock is such a beast in general, but against Domino he's pretty good too. In other fights I would have tried to do the shallow evade more, but here there was no need to risk that because of power snack. So with Domino down, now we have this Hyperion on the Mix Master, power focus 1 and aggression prowess. This fight, it could turn bad if you don't do a good job at managing your hits and triggering Mix Master that Hyperion could evade, or any champion in general could evade, and retaliate any of your hits or combos. So I tried to keep that in mind. I did not have an invulnerability active on me because I had also scouted ahead and saw that this person had plays with willpower. So I tried to obviously inflict as many infections on him. It's worth noting that the more buffs that the champions that you're going against have, it's going to shorten the duration of the infections. But again, because of the cable synergy, that wasn't too much of an issue for me, because even if he cycled through fast on one of my infections with a couple parries, I could already inflict a new one if I had luck with my RNG. So here I'm trying to manage the fight and play safe again, ramping up to my special 2. I still had attack power back boost active from the Domino fight and for the one that's coming up. However, since he has the class advantage over me, that boost does nothing in terms of generating power because of that class advantage. But here he was pretty cooperative with throwing his special 1s and special 2s at times, so that wasn't much of an issue. I could have always tried to save a special 1 to drain his power if I saw that I was in a pickle. But here I played safe, tried to drain his power as much as possible. And I know that Gachu is going to say that I didn't do my 5-hit combo with a light, medium. But I was still a little bit shook from the Domino fight, and I tried to, just play safe and get my full attack bonus from that fight. So next, this is a shared fight in section 2 between paths 1, 2, and 3. It's the one that has the passive shock in case you activate a lot of buffs on yourself, and then every time that the defender throws a special attack, they're going to inflict those passive shocks. So obviously I didn't want to stack many of those, but as I mentioned that I had the attack power boost, I was able to build to my special 2 pretty quick, and then he's already melting here. This fight was obviously a layup, and I loved to have that one, considering that I had a lot of fights in this war, so that one was pretty nice to just shred through that fight. This next fight against Captain Marvel movie, I was conflicted between using Human Torch or Warlock. However, I figured that if I used Human Torch, I would push her into the binary phase too fast, and I obviously didn't want that to happen, because if I ended up pushing her to a special 2, I still don't know how to fully evade that, and she would be unblockable, so I didn't want to play it risky. So here I went with Warlock, even though I had the class disadvantage. But again, with all the infections that I'm applying, and then she already triggered Vigor here, that's not a concern for me. She's just going to start dropping her health pretty quick. And even though I wasn't able to get all the power back from my special 2, again because of the class advantage, her health is just dropping quick. And I was also pretty fortunate that she was dashing in exactly how I wanted her to, and I didn't allow her to build a lot of her binary charges. You'll see that here at the end, I'm just trying to get that fight done and over with. I'll end up throwing a special 1, which I wouldn't recommend, because obviously with the shock damage, that feeds into her getting those binary charges, and then she's going to enter the binary mode and purify those debuffs. However, the fight was almost over that I just went for it and then finished her off. Here we have rank 3 Sentinel max stag ability. This fight had me a little bit concerned because Sentinel is such a tanky defender as it is. However, his signature ability also allows for him to get a lot of physical and critical resistance. So that fight, if I didn't end it quick, it would cause me troubles that my hits would do so little damage that I would probably be close to getting a timeout. However, I was properly boosted here because I knew that I had a few more fights assigned to me and a possible one that I could end up getting from talking to my teammates and trying to see what would work best based on the time of the day that it was. This was in the morning that we were fighting, so obviously people were stuck at work and not able to check it in the game. But here I just tried to also vary a little bit the types of hits that I was landing so that I wouldn't give him a lot of the analysis charges. However, since I kept using my special 2 in sequence, that obviously gives him the 20 counts every time that I throw my special 2. So he's getting pretty close to reaching the max analysis charges. However, I'm pretty confident in here that with the damage that I've done so far, I won't have any issues even when he goes critical resistant. And then I evaded that special 2 and then just had to get a couple more hits in to finish off that fight. Up next we have Black Widow Deadly Origins. This is a common placement for her, in which if you make some mistakes, it obviously could cost you the fight because she stacks those shocks on you and the damage is pretty nasty. Again, with the same situation that I had with Power Snack, because I had a buff at the start and this also has the buffet, it nullified my buff, my armor up, so I just kept an eye on the timer to be able to dex her and then have her nullify that buff instead of my armors, and she wouldn't be in that endless cycle of just nullifying my armor up buff. But other than that, I didn't really care about the suppression passive effects that she's placing on me that won't allow me to throw a lot of the specials. Her health pool is not the largest, so I figured with the boost that I had and with Warlock just hitting hard, and he crits quite consistently too, that I could just plow through that fight and not worry about having my specials. Obviously, I'm trying to play safe here and keep an eye on the parries for her to not purify any of those if she has max limber. I think that could have been the case, either max or close to max limber. But also for the times that she reached a special 1, I tried to just get 1 or 2 hits in so that she wouldn't evade and retaliate with the shocks on me. But other than that, there's not a lot of concerns with this fight. I got the full attack bonus there, so that's good. And here to close out this war, I have my 10th and final fight of this war. It's against Mojo. This is one that I ended up talking to my alliance mates, and then I picked up that fight on the way to the mini section. So here I had my pre-fight still saved because I didn't feel the necessity to activate to any of the Mystic champions that I fought earlier. My strategy here, because he has the Unbloackable special 1, is to try and keep an eye for when he's going to throw those. And obviously I don't want to keep taxing a lot, so whenever he enters his death field or whatever it's called, he would put a lot of passive degen on me. However, he was playing super nice and not throwing specials or being passive or falling for my baits on the parries, that I ended up just melting him quick. Most of the fight I had 10 Nova Flames on him, so whenever he decided that he wanted to throw a special, obviously the power stings finished off the fight and did the job for me. And here you'll see that I had that scare that the connection error icon showed up, and I kept waiting because I figured, I'm not going to give up after having this clean fight. But it definitely stressed me over based on the several reports from other alliances and alliance mates that have had disconnects. But I played the waiting game and was fortunate enough for the game to reconnect. But yeah, this war ended up giving us the win against SpBa, and that puts us back in the master contention, so that's really good for my alliance. And I'll leave you guys here with the remaining 2 fights from war number 6. I hope you enjoy.